Thanks everyone for being with us online. Once again, this is webinar number 12. Thanks, Eva, for the continuous help as usual. Before introducing our guest speaker today, I would like to maybe introduce the help desk for those that don't know it yet. The help desk is an initiative of the EU Japan Center for Industrial Cooperation here in Tokyo, where I'm based, and we do many things, mostly online, but also offline. Some examples of online activities and services that we offer are, well, one is, of course, the webinar, a series of webinars like this one. We have podcasts, we have a database that you can browse and find for available technologies. You can also, if you are a company, if you're an SME, you can shoot us an email and we will try to help you find available technologies or researchers that are working on specific topics. Among the offline services, of course, for those that are here and that have more ease in reaching the office of the help desk, they can come here. We can have meetings. And I'm also involved in the organization of seminars here in Tokyo. Just actually finished a couple last week. So if you are around Tokyo or anyway in Japan, please make sure to swing by the office. It would be really a pleasure to meet you. Without further ado, I would like to introduce today's guest speaker, Jun Miyazaki. And I would like to spend maybe a couple of words by telling you a little bit about himself, but even though I know that he has more things to say. Jun is a very seasoned manager, expert, consultant with a long experience in IT technology for over 30 years in Japan. He's now an IT consultant and for an accelerator and for software systems, and is consulting especially for AI and IoT technologies and systems. He's providing hands-on experience and expertise for R&D fragments to turn into real businesses, those that are just maybe probably just ideas. He has a vast experience to cross the so-called Death Valley that probably many of you heard about in big companies, innovation divisions, and startup companies as well. He has also long experience to connect Silicon Valley with Japanese R&D divisions, and he has helped turn some Silicon Valley's ideas into real products. So without further ado, Jun, the floor is yours. Welcome.
Hi, everybody. I am Jun Miyazaki, and I was asked by Luca to speak this webinar. So let's start something. I am Jun, and then if you see the upper right, there is a strange logo. It's an orange logo. I started a new company from the May 1st, and then it's very new, and even I don't have a good website yet, and also I haven't set up my even my mail address yet. But I'm really very glad to have this startup. I was in Fuji Xerox. It's a subsidiary company of the Xerox for 30 years, so I have a good connection with the so-called Xerox Park, the Palo Alto Research Laboratory, and also FXPAL as a Fuji Xerox Palo Alto Research Laboratory. I was our liaison or coordinator between Japan and United States to make it happen. So see the fragments of research and make it to the real products in mainly in the Asia Pacific market. That's my recent life, and I changed my career into a much more the venture business, and also I was hired by the government laboratory called AIST, Advanced Industrial ISS, science and technology. And my mission is to how to create our so-called AI cloud. So that's also a very exciting theme. So we can communicate later as our AISD person. But today, I am our representative of the CEO of the Orange Tech Lab for your accelerator or for your consultant. So let's go to the next one. This is the Japanese population trends. So you see in 2017, we are decreasing the population very radically. So in 2060, the population will goes radically decreasing, you see. And also, we are facing the very aging society. If you see the green and violet and blue, it's very old type. Especially the 65 to 74 and 75 years and older guys are very increasing and coming 20 to 30 years. That is our trends. So it is called that the Japan is our R&D of aging society. So this is our threat, and also this is our opportunity to think some kind of innovation to facing these kind of radical aging society. Okay. And this is also the very strange map. This is the Japanese, the upside down map. So as you see, the North Korea is having the missile these days and putting into the sea. So the Japanese islands are just like our cap to a Korean peninsula and China and even Russia. So this area is a very mixture of the several countries actually. So if you see the map upside down, the Japan Sea is like a bay of the many countries like Korea, China, and Russia, and Japan. This is our geopolitics of Japanese situation recently. From modern time, yes, but especially recently, why this area is too hot is if you see the Japanese map upside down, you can understand what's will going on here. And next. If you are familiar with Mercator projection, Japan is very small and very far from your countries. I mean, far from EU. But if I project the Japanese islands into the EU area, Japan is actually quite not so small. It's a medium country land. Like we have 3,000 kilometer long from north to south, and it's come from the Morocco to Denmark. So it's quite long country actually. Okay. So that is a little bit different from what you see in a normal world map, especially in a Mercator projection. And this is also the Japanese GDP. And Japan is world number 3 GDP still. Then recently the China becomes the number 2. But you see the United Kingdom and the Kanto bloc. Kanto bloc means our around the Tokyo city. Tokyo metropolitan area is the Tokyo metropolitan area's the GDP is just the same as the United Kingdom, and just Tokyo city, the city of Tokyo is almost same as Australia or Korea or Spain. So the population of Tokyo is 13 million. It is half of Australia. It's at 26 million. So the GDP per person is 1.5 times bigger than that of Australia. So the Japan is very dense in Tokyo area, and also the GDP is very high, as you if you see this chart. And this is a little bit different from what we always think, even for the Japanese. The Japan is much more a domestic-oriented country. So the Japan's export rate is only 17.4%, and the US is also the domestic oriented, is at 12.8, while the Singapore is 231. So the Singapore is a very export oriented country, while Japan is much more a domestic oriented country. So it means, although some export products have been very famous, like Toyota cars, the Sony or Nintendo, everyone knows, even in Europe, I guess. But still, the global companies have been fighting very severely in domestic market and go into global market. And seldom they start from global market. First is the domestic market, and then fighting each other, the very severe the market share fighting within the domestic market. So the Japanese market is very, very severe competitive market. That's the Japanese, the general market trends. And recently, the Japanese unlisted venture fundraising trends are increasing, as you see in 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. The total raise is very high for the almost 1,600 unlisted venture receive this amount, and also the average fundraising per country trend is also raising. So here we have latent opportunity to be funded in Japanese market. Okay, this is the general trends, and it's already the last slides. Okay, so it's now going to the discussion. So the Japan's population is radically decreasing and facing aging society, as I said. And Japan is more domestic economy country, and because of the item 1. So if Japan does not try efficiency improvement and economic growth, Japan will face economy issues, or the radical economy decreasing within 10 or 20 years. So in such a situation, about what EU ventures can offer to Japan, that is the discussion point. If you have any questions, I can answer you, and also we can start discuss. Okay. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Jun. This is Luca. while we maybe wait for some questions potentially from the audience, I do have some questions. So let me ask you first. I introduced you by saying that you help some companies or divisions turning ideas into real products. So it would be interesting maybe to know if you can provide some examples of those that if it's something that you can share, is not something.
My experience.
So yeah, maybe some of the. This is
Yeah.
one. What do you think about that? The other one is we were today asking to and trying to find the opportunities and challenges for especially for European SMEs. And you talk about some of the challenges of the country, like the aging society. So, for example, that is a field in which European companies should concentrate by offering new products to come to Japan. And if they want, and especially for those that are really, really small, what would be your recommendations? Thank you.
The many questions. So, what should I do? Yeah, the myself and EU, and especially the EUJ, has our some kind of relationship. And if you are familiar with a presentation tool called Prezi, Prezi is a Prezi. It's the CEO is the Peter Arbay, and he's now in San Francisco. He was my intern student as a EUJ Vulcanus. So if at that time, as a 10 years ago, about 15 years ago, I haven't imagined he will become a Silicon Valley CEO. But I am very much glad to see him is growing every year, year by year. So I guess that his good point is he's a very good at communication. He speaks a very good Japanese. He speaks English, German, French, Hungary, and his Swedish. So one of the good point of the Europeans is you are a multi-language guys. So I think the good point of the European is I think it's you can speak at least three languages, I guess. Sometimes I don't know, but the two at least two, and the English and your country's language. So the EU guys are very good at communication. So it is very important. But also the Japanese language is a little bit difficult. So the Peter and the let's see, is it's our uh, exception, I guess. Um, and also my other companies, previous companies experience, I could make three products into the Japanese and Asia Pacific market. Um, I am the PhD in IT, but it is very hard to marketize or the technology marketing in Japanese market because I said before it's very competitive compared to the other world, I guess. So if you go into the Japanese market, you have to know at least uh, marketing, I guess, rather than technology. Or you should have a partnership with the the people who has the ability of the technology marketing, not only the just the marketing, but also the technology marketing, I guess. That's one thing I can say to you, Luca. And what else you said?
aging society.
Oh yeah, aging society. Okay, the aging society means as you remember that I said, the Japan is a kind of a R&D of aging society. So it's radically going to the aging society. So Japan is the front edge, the front end of the aging society. So everything of the aging society issues will start from Japan, I guess. So if you see what will happen in Japanese aging society, then you can turn into the United States or the EU or even in China or Korean. The next aging society will come on Korea soon because of the child birth rate of the Korean is less than Japan. So soon Korea will face. And also the China has only one policy, only one child policy. These days they not continue that, but still the number of the birth rate is very low. So China will soon face the same issue soon, except India. India is growing. Okay, so the issues in the aging society will surely happen first in Japan. That's our threat for us, but maybe very good R&D for EU guys, I guess. That's what I said.
Thank you. If I can build on this, I would ask you, maybe also in your experience, long experience, you had the chance to work with American companies and with European companies. Is there any difference between, in your experience, between European companies when they try to enter the Japanese market with regard to as opposed to the US ones, to the American ones? And if there is a difference, why there is a difference between the two? Is it in terms of, I don't know, approach to the market, the way they do marketing? For example, you mentioned marketing, so we all know that, for example, American companies might be very, very strong at doing this. And once again, in this let's say area of the aging society, where would you think a company be perfectly fit, in which part of the supply chain, if they want to if they're interested in the Japanese market, they should come with as a supplier to a much larger Japanese organization, as a company with a finished product, and try to find a partner?
Okay, Europe and Japan has some kind of from 100 years ago or over 300 years ago, we have mutual relationship. For example, so the French guy has some relationship with the Japanese ukiyo-e kind of stuff. So we have very much affected each other. And the Japanese have some good, what should I say, respect. Yeah, I should say respect to the Europe guys. So we love your cars, cars. I also have a Volkswagen, yeah, in myself. Okay, not Toyota. So I love Toyota, but it's still I'm having my car, and then so the EU brand is very strong. If you have a very good product or a very attractive, so the Luca is the Italian, so the Italian is a fashion, it's car, so the good design, yeah. So the Ferrari red, so it's very attractive for the Japanese guys. So I think the branding from the European side and then bring it to Japan is most effective, I guess. So we say black ship effect. Black ship effect is originally came from the United States. As you know, or you may not know, the ship came from United States 150 years ago. The Admiral Petty forced to open our gate. We closed the gate in 150 years ago, and the black ship suddenly came and forced to open our doors, open the market. So the black sheep are the typical word to open our eyes, open the Japanese eyes, or open the branding eyes. So the Japanese is weak to this kind of the overseas products. That's the Japanese tendency. From Japan to United States or Japan to Europe, one example is the Sony's example or the Nissan's example. They fit their products not only in Japan market, but also in the United States. So the Nissan is well known to drove around the United States in the 60s, 1960s, to drive over the United States. The first time they cannot reach, or they broke. You know, the Nissan cars often broke, but they fixed it and changed the quality. That's the Japanese way of the marketing. So never give up to go into the Japanese market. That is one thing I can say. The Ford, you know, these days the Ford Ford gave up to come into Japan. So I mean the car maker Ford. But still, you should not give up to fight with the Japanese market. The Japanese market is very domestic and very competitive market. You have to fight with. Then I believe that you can reach to the global market as well. Or once you have ground in Europe and the United States and bring by black ship, then you will succeed. That's my basic opinion.
Yeah, maybe I have a very last question on my side, and then I would open the discussion to the rest of the audience. So you think it's a good idea? Let's put it away this way. You know, the majority of companies in the world are SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises, and in Europe there are several millions of companies. So we're talking now to them. So a company with, let's say, like 10 employees, and they have, I don't know, a product in the, it's a medical device. So there is no branding potentially attached because it's not related to fashion. It's not related to something cool because it's a medical device. What would be your advice to a company like this to come here? Would be, once again, to find a local partner, so someone that can is also currently selling the same kind of products, have this company as a distributor, or hire someone here, of course, that should be taking care of the market locally. What would be, in this case, your recommendation?
Okay. You know, we can use web marketing. So the digital marketing these days, digital marketing grows exponentially, even for the small companies in Europe. So I propose you to use the digital flagship effect, or networking effect to the from the Europe and spread exponentially for your brand or brand and and then come to Japan, and then a partnership with the Japanese big company because they have experience for the very competitive domestic market. So if you come alone, you will face the very competitive market and very close. The market is very not open, and you have the language issues too. The Japanese language is not so easy. So, but at the brand itself is very important. So if you have brand in the digital, so in digital marketing, I think it's much easier for you to come into Japan. That's my basic opinion.
Thanks. Thanks. I'm sorry for having bombarded you with all these questions. I don't know if we have another question internally today.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, Eva. I don't know if someone. Yeah, maybe we can ask someone from the audience if they are interested, or otherwise we will have our colleague here, Stein, that is with us.
Luca, thank you. For the moment, I don't see any further questions. So if you have a question,
we can chat. Yes.
Please go ahead.
Oh yes, and to let you know, probably. I mean, of course, as usual, the file will be online shortly in a couple of days. So if you were not able to listen to the entire conversation, you can always take a look at the YouTube channel of the help desk, where we have all the videos, and also videos of the seminars and other activities. It seems that the audience today is kind of shy. So Stein, if you have a question, please. Yeah, of course, come here.
So first off, thank you for your presentation. You made a very interesting point about this aging society, and I'm interested, given your background also in IT, in cloud, where exactly do you see potential cooperation with Europe related to R&D within this aging society concept?
My profession these days is a deep learning. So as you know, the DeepMind CEO is the PhD of the University City of London, UCL. So, and also the Mercedes or other European companies, car companies, Autodrive is actually number one, compared to the United States, right? So the United States is a very big fund, but as for the idea of the AI, it came from England or German or some other countries, actually. So I think the state of the art of the artificial intelligence, or state of the idea of the IT, is always come from Europe and United States East Coast, and finally coming to Silicon Valley to be productized. That's the situation I observed in the 30 years. So I respect the European guys have ideas, but to make it products, you need the Silicon Valley, or if you have chance to collaborate with a Japanese company or China company, you will be you can become very big, I guess. Okay, that's sort of for the IT point of view or the AI point of view. Europe has very good original ideas, I believe. Oh, the Wan Long wrote me something. Oh, you're sharing your knowledge? Okay. Yeah, please write. Or you can say. Yeah. Yes, the robot is a one good solution for the aging society. The robot for the aging guys and the healthcares is a very good example. Yes, I believe yes, it's very good, it's successful. But you have to go into the market, you know, not only the you or maybe a China guy. Please come to the Japan and see the what's going on the real market and fight with the face with the real people and the aging the real old guys what they are facing. So if you have difficulty to communicate with in Japanese, one of us, I mean myself or the EUJ guy, will help you to go into the front end of the edge of the aging society, I guess. So Luca will help you.
Of course, we will try to do our best. And once again, it's kind of interesting that we were talking about aging society in the audience. We had someone working exactly on this, so that's very very timely. Um, well, I don't know if one long is asking something else or. Well, in the meantime, I'm kind of curious. So you told us that you just founded the this new company, Orange Tech Lab. So what are you going to do? This is kind of your second life, right?
Okay.
Now
Now
I'm
I'm
helping
helping the big company
uh,
uh,
of
of
the
the
consultancy
consultancy
for
for
the
the chemical plant
IoT
IoTs
and also
and
the
also the
AI
AI
analysis.
analysis.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's what I'm doing. And document classification.
What else?
What else?
Um,
Um,
mm,
I cannot tell you, but
I have
I have several projects right now. But as mostly it's IT oriented
and
and
IoT.
IoTs. Oh yeah, one thing I have to say, the heavy edge is the keyword. Heavy edge, not only the cloud system. The Japanese are not so good at the cloud system. The cloud is owned by Google or Amazon or Apple. But the heavy edge, I mean the PCs site in the IoT's area. So heavy edge is a keyword for the 2017's the Japanese market. It's very sure. And robot, of course.
Excellent. I would take the for again. I can see one long. Of course, is writing. You're applying for EU subsidy. Well, yes, more than happy to assist if possible. So please do shoot us an email. Check the website, and please let's be in touch.
Yeah, please.
So I would like to thank once again, of course, first of all, the audience for being with us, and the guest speaker that we had. Thank you very much again for being here with us in our office, and also my other colleagues' time that was really interested in listening to the conversation. So I'm very happy to be part of three today here. Uh, we still don't know when is the next webinar, but let's see, maybe in a month, probably before the summer. So please stay tuned, and I'll keep you posted. And of course, thanks once again to Eva, that as usual is giving a lot of support from Brussels.